Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be installing some JRP gauges into the NP300. So ran around this morning, went to JCar Super Cheap and Repco and grabbed a couple things that we're going to need today. So out here on the table we've got the actual gauges themselves already ready to go in the 4x4 Concepts dual pillar pod. Got some corrugated tubing to protect the cable, got some zip ties and some heat shrink. And we've got this little adapter here to use that'll go into the coolant line just here. And we'll be able to run the sensor into that to get our water temp. And then we've just got some 5-core trailer cable just here with a fuse to protect everything. So yeah, it should be good. We'll get stuck into pulling off the A-pillar, getting ready to put the new one in. Apparently the 4x4 Concepts one go over it, but I haven't seen anyone go over the original one. So we're gonna just pull it off and have a look, see how it fits, and make it up as we go pretty much. But I haven't seen too many videos, well I haven't seen any videos on YouTube about putting gauges into these things, so hopefully anyone that's watching can learn from it and be able to install gauges on their car by themselves as well. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it.
So there's just a couple clips. There's a clip there, there's a clip there, there was a clip there, but it fell off, so I'll just put that on my seat. And then there's that little rubber connection just there that you can see. So we'll have a look. I think it just twists out. It was actually pretty easy. I thought it was going to be a pretty big struggle, but looks like it'll be fine. There we are. So that little rubber piece just fits in that hole there, and then it just slides out. So I'm going to grab the pillar pod and we'll see how it fits. Yeah, it looks like it literally just fits perfectly, but I don't know, do I just try and jam it back together, or? Interesting. So that's it there, but there's like a little gap. I don't know if you can, well, see what I mean? It just doesn't really hold it in there. So might have to phone a friend that's used one of these before, and we'll see what he did. Alright, the pillar pod is going on without the original one. I messed around with it for like 10 minutes and I just couldn't get both of them on there, so we're just going to run the new pillar pod by itself and then just double-sided tape it. So now that we've figured that out, we've got to wire these bad boys up. So JRP is really good. They come with a power link cable, so you can actually hook these two gauges up and only run one power harness. So we're going to solder this power harness onto the trailer cable. We're going to run that through all of the car. So we've got to get constant power, ignition, ground, and then your sensor wire. So we're going to get the main power just from the battery, and then we'll get the ignition from the fuse panel inside. I couldn't find a fuse tap, so if there's not a fuse tap there already for the spotties, I might just run it off of the spotty switch, because that's always on anyway when the car comes on. And then for the sensor, we're going to cut this cable here. We're just going to take probably 10-20 mil out of that, stick the SAS adapter into there to get our coolant, and then under here, I don't know if you will be able to see it, but up in there on the intake manifold, there is a little rubber hose. It's kind of like a U shape, and that's where people are teeing into for the boost reference. So we've got to put a boost tee, or just a regular tee in that, and then run our sensor to that as well, and then get them all the way back to the gauges. So it might be a little bit of fiddling around, but we should be all right. So now we'll just get stuck into soldering the power cable together. So that's all ready. and then we'll get that in the car routed. I don't know what grommet I'm going to come out of. I think there's one down there that I can get out of, but it looks like it's pretty full already, so we'll have a look at that as well. But yeah, we should be all good. Haven't done too much with this car yet, so this is exciting. This is like the main first thing that we're actually doing. Everything else has been kind of easy and plug and play, but this is plug and play as well, I mean, but we'll get stuck into it. Alright, got them all soldered up, ready to go. This is the best thing about using trailer wire, is that literally all your colours are there. So except for the green one, we'll just tuck him down there. Now we're going to feed this down the pillar and figure out where we need to come out of. I'm just going to try and follow the existing harnesses, but as you can see, there's a grommet down there, a little grommet there where your bonnet release catch comes from, and there's a grommet here. I don't think that grommet we're going to be able to get to, so we might just have to come out of one of those. But we'll get up under the dash and we'll have a look at where the best place is going to be. And then once we've fed him through, we'll feed some conduit onto the cable and start running it to where it needs to be. Going a lot smoother than I was expecting. We successfully got the cable through the grommet, and then we've taken him up under the dash there, and it's popped up out the top here. So now we just got to repeat for the sensors, and that should be all of the wiring ran. We still got to terminate everything and get it all actually wired in. Lunch break. Alright, I'm having some dramas finding the illumination signal that I can tap off, and I know that these NPs are really sensitive with the IPDM, I think it's called. They are really sensitive to adding aftermarket lighting circuits and whatever. So I've just messaged a couple blokes on Facebook, and we're going to see what they reckon. But from what it looks like on all the pages, it looks like everyone's just run 12 volt and illumination together so that the gauges are always lit up. I'd rather put illumination into it, but we'll just see what happens. So while we wait for those guys to get back to me, we're going to tackle getting the SAS adapter in. So we'll get this one undone, and then we'll start coming up with a plan on putting that bad boy in there. So I'm 90% sure coolant's going to go everywhere, so I'm going to have to try and minimalize that so that we don't get a massive mess. But if we do get a mess, it'll be pretty funny, I guess. Oh, we're going to use my Macca's cup from lunch to hopefully not spill anything. I need my pliers. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, I need a towel, but I can't move this. Oh crap. Let's get this clamp back up. Proper. Right, just gonna cut bang in the middle. Alright, it's been, I think, like 2.5 hours since I last picked up the phone. A lot's happened. I struggled for, I'm not even kidding, about an hour trying to tee into the boost line that's on the intake manifold. That was the biggest nightmare I've ever had. We've got the boost sensor here, and we've got the water temp sensor all plumbed in. So I'm just finishing the power cable here. Had to go get some hose clamps for the boost T, because the T that was in the kit was actually too small. I'm not even kidding, this is the extension I use. It is bigger than my hand. I just put that on the impact because I literally spent like an hour trying to get it with a screwdriver, and then I was like, nah, it's not reaching. So grabbed the impact and just sent him on there. So that was literally the hardest thing, and I hope I never have to do it again. But yeah, we'll get this terminated, and then we're gonna go inside the car, and we've got to tap into ignition and the illumination wire. So I didn't get an answer on Facebook or anywhere about the illumination wire. Me personally, I'm not going to run the illumination wire purely because I'm scared I'm going to blow the IPDM. So I'm not going to run the illumination wire. I'm only going to run them fully lit up all the time, which, to be honest, in daytime when the sun's hitting them, you're going to want them lit up anyway. So I hope that none of you came here to look for that answer, but yeah, I know it can be done. I was going to tap into the steady harness, but I also read that there's some issues with the steady harness, and then I was going to tap off of the IPDM, but I don't want to do that anymore because I don't want to blow it and then have no lights. So I'll pick his back up once we've gotten everything connected, and then I'll just run you through quickly of how I've connected everything, and then we'll get into connecting all of the gauges up and making sure they work. Right, this is the moment of truth. Oh, I need my keys. All right, take two. This is the moment of truth. By rights, these gauges should turn on when I turn the ignition on. Give them a second. Uh-oh. I've done something wrong. Oh, there's no fuse. Okay, take three. I got scared for a second there. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so happy. We got to drill a hole for the settings buttons on the pillar pod. So that's this one right here. We got to install that onto the pillar pod. I'm thinking we'll try and go somewhere like here. I'll put the gauges in and see where they sit, and then we'll drill that. But once we drill that, we will be able to put the pillar pod in, tidy up the wiring, go home and eat some dinner because I am absolutely starving. King Chrome, not a sponsor, but it could be if you wanted to. Right, here they are installed in the pillar pod. Now we do have a little bit of a gap here, but once you push up on it, it covers up. So I'm either going to pull this headliner over it, or just get some double-sided tape and stick him there. It's not that big of a deal, but it'll look nicer. So put the key in the ignition, turn him on. Flash. Now these do have a heap of different settings that you can do on them. So JRP has really good videos on their own gauges, obviously. So I'm going to go through and do my settings, and then I'll show you them in action. But just to recap, pretty much all we did was get some 5-core trailer cable, and we ran them up out of this little grommet here. We've got the power wires and the sensor wires going over there. We've grounded our gauges just down there, if you can see that, just on one of the little 10mm bolts that are on the ECU bracket. Now, I do have a snorkel, so I don't know where you would ground it if you didn't have a snorkel. But the snorkel that I have has the ECU relocation kit, so it works perfect, nice and short. And then we have run the yellow and white cables down and across, and I've just put them onto the 12-volt socket. Now that is your illumination and your ignition. But honestly, it looks incredible day and night. Well, I haven't seen it in the day yet, but I'm sure it'll look incredible. They're not too bright, and you can adjust the brightness accordingly, so you're not gonna have any dramas at all. If you do wanna run illumination, I was gonna run off of the headlight circuit, but again, these cars are really sensitive, so do it at your own risk. But yeah, we'll go ahead and tidy them all up and get on the road and have a look. As we can see, we've got the gauges, got up to operating temperature. We did lose a little bit of coolant, so well, now I can keep an eye on my temperature. And then we've got the boost here, which I've already calibrated. When you put a boost gauge in, you have to calibrate it to 0 when your car's off and there's no vacuum and no boost. So in theory, if we start driving, I would call that a success. It looks so good, man. So good. That's what the colour pre-warm looks like. Just changes to a different colour once you're getting to your desired increment, and then goes back once you're under to operating temperatures. So I've got mine set at increments of 5, and it goes from red, which is my normal colour, to yellow, to orange, to finally white. And if it ever gets to white, I dare say the NP is done for. So it's pretty cool to see that it actually works. So yeah. Right, it's been a couple of days since I filmed all this, and I just realised I forgot to film an outro. So I just wanted to say thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've got what information you've needed out of this video. Like I said, there's not a lot of information on these cars when it comes to putting gauges in, so I hope that you could follow somewhat and get a little bit of information that you were looking for. I also just wanted to say that I'm not sponsored in any way by JRP. I got these gauges as a Christmas present, and the past 3 days running these gauges, I can say they are absolutely incredible. So if you're looking for gauges, I highly recommend JRP. They're 10 times better than just your normal SAS gauges that you get from Super Cheap. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for all of your support on the last video. The Fraser episode was absolutely amazing. Everyone loved it, which I'm super glad to hear because it was my favorite video by far. So yeah, thank you for all the support on that video. Thank you for watching this one. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you can. Anything helps me. And we'll see you in the next one.